guys, in today's video I want to show you how I made a cute little frog. So I made this one in a Facebook Live over on my Facebook page. You can still catch the live if you want to see the longer version. And I'm using the purple Serotino modeling paste for this. It comes in smaller packs and big packs. I'll put links to everything that I use under the video as well. So we're going to start by creating like the main bit, which is like the body and half the head. So we're going to roll it fairly rounded, and then we're going to press about halfway up with a little bit of an indentation. Now, the higher you go, the smaller the head's going to be. The lower down you go, the bigger the head's going to be compared to the body. So we're just going to start pulling it in a bit more now. It's going to look like this weird shape. I'm going to squeeze what will be the head. So this will just be the top part of the head because we're going to add the bottom sort of part of the mouth in a different colour shortly. Kind of reminds me like a mushroom or something shape maybe. And of course you can have yours with a shorter body or taller body. It really depends on what you like the look of. So I'm going to go for the blue. Again, I'm just using pre-coloured modelling paste for the body. Again, I'll put links to it all below the video, guys. I do sell it all on my website as well. You can find most of the things on there. So we've kind of pressed it so it's flat on the top, coming outwards, and then we've got a long thin bit that's going to come down the body. I'm just going to neaten it up by cutting it with the knife at the top. Let's flatten down this body bit a tiny bit. You will have to keep holding it against your body so that you can see how it's fitting, whether it needs to be made a bit bigger or smaller. And we're just going to attach that with a little bit of water onto there like so. Now, if you think it would benefit you watching the longer version, guys, don't forget the Facebook Live is still available to watch on my Facebook page, which is just Zoe's Fancy Cakes. And I've been trying to do a new Facebook Live each Monday morning at 10 a.m. So you can join us for a live 10 a.m. Monday mornings. Okay, so I'm going to put in some little eye sockets on the top. I'm holding around the body, trying not to squash the body, but it's the easiest place to kind of get hold of it. And for the eyes, I couldn't decide if I wanted green or blue, so let's mix the two together. We're going to roll two little balls and we're going to place those inside those eye sockets that we've made. You could go bigger or you could go smaller. It's entirely up to you with what you like the look of. Have a bit of a play around and see what you think works best. Next, I'm going to add some colour to the bottom of the body. So I'm using my colour palette. This is the Petal Dusts colour palette. It is edible dusts, guys. It's not a makeup palette that I've just got out of my cupboard or anything. But yeah, I'm just adding a bit of a blue to the bottom. You can use the loose dusts if you want. You don't have to use one of these palettes. Let's go with a little bit of pink under each eye. So I've put a cocktail stick in the bottom just so that I can push it into some polystyrene just while I'm working on it, just to make it a little bit easier. You don't have to do this if you don't want to though, guys. And I've cut a circle in the purple paste, so matching the body colour, and I've tried to cut it in half, or it might be slightly bigger than a half, and we're going to place it over each eye, so it's like the eyelid. So it just takes a little bit of pressing around on the back to try and get it to meet with the rest of the head. I'm going to do the same on both eyes. I'm just trying to upturn the edge of his mouth a tiny bit, just make him look a little bit more like he's smiling. You can see it a little bit better from the side than from the front. And then for the eyes, we can either stick on discs of black for the pupils, or you can colour them in with an edible pen, whichever you prefer. So there you can see me having a bit of a play around with the different shapes to see what looks best in the eyes. If you've decided to do an edible pen like what I did on this version and you don't like it, it will just wipe off with some water on a brush as well. Okay, so let's move on to our legs. So we've got two pieces of the purple. We've made it thin at each end, and then what I'm going to do is about in the middle, we're going to thin it again. And then we're going to fold it. You'll need to go quite thin in that middle bit and just point where we fold it. So we've done the same with both, and they're going to go on either side of the body at the bottom. So we're going to take another piece and we're going to squash it down. So it's kind of a bit pointier at each end, wider in the middle. I've cut it in half, and then I'm drawing on some little lines for where the toes are going to be, and then I'll cut over that with my little craft knife. And I am going to stick these now in place. So I'm going to put some water on the top of that leg, pushing it firmly against the body. And it's also going to sit on top of that foot, and then once that's on there, you can add a bit of dust as well. Now, you're best waiting for any water that you've added to stick it together with to dry before you add the dust or the powdered colour. Okay, and I will take this off the polystyrene later as well. It's not going to stay on this piece of polystyrene. This time we're going to roll two little balls and squash them. And then we're going to cut our little toes out. Now, I think I might have done it the backwards way around in that I think a frog's back legs might have different number of toes to the front legs, and I think I did mine the wrong way around. It's cartoony. I'm sure it will be fine. So we're just going to push these down in front of the body, and then we want some smaller bits of paste for the arms. So we're going to roll them into long little sausage shapes. I'm just going to cut these down a little bit. I'm going to roll them in the middle so we get a thinner bit for the elbow joint. And we're going to fold that slightly. And again, try and pinch the outer edge so we get a bit of a point on the elbow. Then we're going to stick them to the side of the body. So press on the shoulders and then make sure they touch the tops of those front feet as well. Now I'm just adding a bit of water to the end of each toe. And what we're going to do is stick a ball of paste on each one. These always want to stick to my fingers instead of to the toes. Okay, so it's a slightly different size to one that I'd made previously, but that's fine. And the other one I put stripes on. This one, let's see what it looks like with just spots first. Oh, let's put some stripes on the back. Now this one I've decided to colour in the markings with my black pen, so it's an edible pen that I'm using. The other one I actually stuck them on in paste. So it depends on if you want it to be raised or if you want it to be nice and flat as to which one of these you're probably going to opt for. And we'll put some on the legs as well as the body and the face. So time to sort out what I definitely want to do with these eyes. I think we're just going to keep them fairly simple and go for little round discs of black. You want to roll them as thin as possible, otherwise they will stick out from the eyeball. I'm just going to add a line of the black edible pen just on the outer edge of the eyelid. I'm also just putting a little bit on the pupil as that looks a bit dull in colour as well. I'm going to add 2 dots of white into each eye so it looks like a bit of light reflecting into its eyes. I'm just using some modelling paste for that. And there he is, all finished, my frog. So don't forget guys, you can see the full length version over on my Facebook page. It's in the live section of Zoe's Fancy Cakes Facebook page. Don't forget to join me for the lives 10 AM UK time over on my Facebook page. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and leave me a comment below. You can see more of my tutorials by clicking on the images on screen now. If you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button to stay up to date with my future tutorials. There are also links in the description box below where you can find me on Facebook, Instagram and more.